Hello Bookish fans, welcome to my third video and the last video of my booktube birthday week. In this video I will talk about the type 5 characters that I want to meet in real life. This video idea came from a video that I saw in Kaylee's channel, Luminous Libro, and I asked her if she would be okay with using her video idea to do my own take on this subject matter. She kindly said that she would be delighted with this idea. In her video, in which you should definitely check, she mentioned many of the characters from many different books. But since my video series consists of type 5 lists, and I had more than 5 characters, I wanted to do the top 5 characters from classics and top 5 characters from non-classic books. I have actually 10 characters that I will talk. So I will talk about 2 characters in each ranking. The characters that I chose are not the characters that I want to meet because I have a crush on them. I have a separate video about those characters, so I can say that these characters are the characters that I feel that I would be friends with them if I met them. The character in the 5th place in a classical book is Anne from Anne of Green Gables, but I think I will be better friends with Anne in the maybe 3rd and 4th book. As a teenager, because she has both matured, but she kept her will of living and positive look on everybody, and I think she's a delightful character to be friends with. She would always lighten up my day with her positive take on people and the subjects and the hardships that we all endure. And the second character that I'm going to talk about from a non-classical book is Ursula from the Illumination of Ursula Flight. Although she's not a contemporary of mine, I think she and I would get along very, very well. She's a woman who knows what she wants, and she's not a quitter, and she's a survivor. And she also likes to read and write. That, of course, is something that I always feel would cement our relationship much, much better. The character from a classic in the 3rd place is actually my favorite character of all times, Jane Eyre. The reason that she's not in the 1st place is because I think she and I have different ideas about some of the ethical and religious things. But I do admire her strength and her capability to grow up as a woman, and how she progressed through the book. So if she and I can agree to disagree on some of the things and focus on the things that we have more in common, I think we would be great friends, Jane and I, and she will always be my role model like she was when I was a teenager. And the character in the 4th place from a non-classical book is a very different type of woman. Madeline from Big Little Lies. I think she's a delightful character to be with. Like Anne from Anne of Green Gables, she has a very positive look on many of the things, but she's an overthinker like me. And I think that thing would make our relationship much, much stronger, because we would talk about the things that the other one hasn't thought of, if it is possible. And also, I really like her devotion to her family, which is something that is also present in me, and her loyalty to her friends, and how she always helps and defends them whenever she can. I think she's a great friend to have. The character in the third place from a classic is Adrien Oliver from Agatha Christie. First of all, as an Agatha Christie fan, I would explain why I did not choose Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple for this list. First of all, Hercule Poirot would be great as a dinner guest, but I don't think I would be endure him for more than an hour, because he's so full of himself, and that is something that I do not like in real life friends, although he's fascinating to read about. And Miss Marple, although I like her and respect her very, very much, is much older than me. And I think she will be a great observer, but she would not be very good at conversations. And although I do not seem like an introvert in this channel, I'm actually not very good at being the first one to take the first step in friendship. And maybe that's why I chose Adrien Oliver, because she's very good at conversations, and she likes to give her opinions on everything. Of course, as a writer of detective novels and as also an amateur detective, I think she and I would get into many adventures which we would solve murders, thefts, and many other things, which sounds amazing. And I somewhat share her views on healthy eating. So an apple a day would be very good for my health as well. The character in the third place from a non-classic book is Elif Bridgerton. I think she's the cleverest of all of the sisters, and the fact that she has been a spinster for a very long time would make us connect in some level. She knows how important it is to be independent as a woman. Although she lived many years ago, if she had lived in contemporary times, I think she and I would be kindred souls in many ways. And I also have a thing for single dads in romance books, so in that sense we are also similar. The character in the second place in a classic book is a Jane Austen character, who's not Anne Elliot. You would think that I would choose Anne Elliot, wouldn't you, as a big Persuasion fan, but I would choose Eleanor Dashwood, because she is the character that is most similar to me. She's loyal, she's practical, she's not overly romantic, she's not overly sensitive, she likes to read. I really would like to be her confidant, because in the book she did not have very reliable confidants, and who did not think of her. And I actually had a similar experience in my love life when I was younger. So I think I really would like to console her and tell her that it's all right. So I think Eleanor and I would be really good friends and get on really well. And the character in a non-classical book is Claire from Outlander. The reason that she is so high on this list, because of her adventures. I'm fascinated by the idea of time travel, especially to the past. And since she has traveled to past all the time, I think she would really give her stories about the past, the time period, and her experiences there, and she's all would give me would satisfy my hunger for historical fiction. And having the same idea that women should be strong no matter what, even if they are married, they are not married, even if they are a mother or does not have children. The important thing that a woman should be independent, and Claire is a very good example of a woman who shows her strength at at any kind of situation, and I think we would have very interesting talks about the place of women in the society. The character in the first place in a classical novel is Marion from The Woman in White. The reason that she is in the first place is because I think she's a very interesting character, and I really would like to know more about her. And we mostly hear about her from different point of views than herself, and I think she's a fascinating character. She's very clever, she's very loyal to her sister, and she's also a very practical woman and a very clever woman. I really would like to know her views on many of the things that are happening in the world, and her loyalty to her family and her family honor is also very impressive, and I definitely agree with her about the importance of family, and I think she and I would have very interesting conversations, and I'm feeling that we would be great friends. And the number one character in a non-classical book is from a Turkish author, Peri in Three Daughters of Eve, from Elif Shafak. First of all, Peri in 2016 and me in 2020 are the same age, so we come from the same generation. We come from very similar families, very similar thoughts about the development of Turkey. We also have the same conflicts about freedom, religion, modernization, secularism, and the idea of using religion as a social, as a political force, as opposed to religious freedom. I think she and I would have very fruitful conversations about the situation in Turkey right now, and I think she would give many different insights which I have not thought of before. I would like to presume that I would do the same for her. So I think Peri, who also shares the same name with my mother, would be a great friend to talk about my concerns about my country. As for Turkish word of the day, since we are talking about real life, I thought real should be the word of the day. Real means gerçek in Turkish, and gerçek is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.